Hello everybody, we're back with another video. It's titled, How Does the State of California Sanction Slavery Through Their Child Support Program? I like to say, all praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, creator of the universe. I love my mother, I love my father, I love our son and have love for the mother of our son. Table of contents. Brief introduction, what is child support? We are not anti-government, we are anti-corruption. Brief words on Jane Skinner's SB 1200. Is child support a for-profit business? Does court staff, judges, commissioners forge documents? How does the sheriff and state enforce forged court orders? Are you a debt slave by child support? What are the consequences of challenging corruption? Conclusion and references. The brief introduction, what is child support? So child support is a grant program, AB 1058. You could Google this online, see AB 1058 manual and explain their process of getting their funding for their family law facilitator program and their child support commissioner program. They have the federal manual of child support and the child support handbook. You could look that up online to see a PDF. Title 4D pays Title 4A. So Title 4D is the child support funds. Title 4A is the welfare expenditures. It's not for the children, it's for the state governments to profit. So they profit from various services, or they call so-called obligors or parents participants. You could see the case Blessing versus Freestone, and that goes into it that child support is not a federal right. And I just wanted to say that I don't support those that don't support their offspring, but I'm just stating the facts concerning the matters in this video. The next slide. So we are not anti-government, we are anti-corruption. We are for the truth. So to not get this misconstrued that this is some kind of anti-government analysis or video, but this is to point out the role that the governmental agencies, so government-like, not government-like agencies and the wrongdoings they're doing and the methods that they're holding people to, slaves and things of that nature. So here's some quotes. The more corrupt the state, the more numerous the laws. Tacitus, the Annals of Imperial Rome. So a lot of our laws and codes come from the structure of Rome and England, the common law. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations that long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pocket, and they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's by the comedian George Carlin, or the late comedian. So there's a lot of truth in his quotes, or his quote, that they own you. And that's what we're discuss about them owning us by a fictitious or fraudulent child support debt. With this fictitious, fraudulent child support debt, they could steal your land. They could have the corporations and the government come after you. The judges are going to follow what their lead because they're getting paid from that. So this is just a quote I wanted to share with you. Next slide. So this is brief words on Jane Skinner's Senate Bill 1200. So this was back in March 2, 2022. This is her article here. State Senator Nancy Skinner, Democrat, Berkeley, today announced the introduction of SB 1200, which will reduce excessively high interest rates the California courts levy when issuing legal judgments on consumer and personal debt. It would also limit the amount of time the Californians can be burdened with long-term debt. For years, state laws required courts to charge exorbitant interest rates on legal judgments, exacerbating the debt owed by California families. Senator Skinner said SB 1200 will help relieve financially struggling families by slashing high interest rates on legal judgments and limiting the amount of time families are forced to struggle under mounting debt. Over the years, creditors and debt collectors have increasingly turned to the courts to obtain legal judgments against Californians for personal or consumer debt, like for unpaid credit cards, overdue medical bills, or outstanding traffic violations. The court-ordered interest on those legal judgments accrues at 10% per year, and that's atop of high interest rates that have already been levied by creditor. In addition, debt collectors who often buy and sell debt can keep reviewing judgments on unpaid debt long after the 10 years of legal judgment is supposed to retire. These renewals are also the interest to continue to accrue at 10% per year, thereby creating insurmountable debt loads. According to research, communities of color are disproportionately impacted by debt collection judgments and by wage garnishments and asset seizures. From 2012 to 2017, top debt collectors seized $700 million from California residents through wage garnishments alone. Under SB 1200, annual interest on unpaid consumer and personal debt under a legal judgment would be cut from 10% to 3%. The same interest rate reduction would apply to legal judgments on unpaid debt by governmental agencies. In addition, SB 1200 would establish restrictions on the renewal of legal judgments for unpaid debt after 10 years. We should not require our courts to add to the burden of financially strapped families. It's time to rein in, Senator Skinner added. There is no reason for Californians to be subjected to unreasonable high interest rates that can more than double or triple what they originally owed. Senator Nancy Skinner represents the 9th Senate District, is the chair of the Senate Budget Committee, and vice chair of the Legislative Women's Caucus. So this was her article that was an introduction to SB 1200, which basically passed May the 25th, which was a couple of days ago. So we're looking at this on the correlation of this Senate bill and child support. So let's look at another file here. Senate Rules Committee, third reading. We'll just go over a little bit of this, maybe just the beginning. This is available on their site, PDF. Subject: Enforcement of Judgements, Renewal and Interest. East Bay Community Law Center. This bill restricts the renewal of money judgments to those pursuant to which a lien has been created. This bill reduced the interest rate to certain outstanding money judgments and extends a period of time within which a judgment debtor can move or vacate or modify a renewal. So you could pause for these definitions. It says what a judgment creditor is: a person whose favor a judgment is rendered. Judgment debtor: person against whom a judgment is rendered. Money judgment is a part of judgment which requires payment of money. Provides enforceability of judgments in civil action, including money judgments. So these are the codes below. So some people brought to my attention about this Senate Bill 1200. Yeah, thank you, Michelle. And they were more concerned about reducing the high rates of interest on debts and child support, and the enforcement of the things that child support does, like taking license, which they're not allowed to do according to the Department of Justice memo. So these people were more concerned with the rate of interest, and I wanted to point out for the video that the child support agency, their staff, and the courts are illegally obtaining these judgments. They're forging documents. They're using whiteout, redacting stuff, filing false documents, and making up these alleged debts. So that was the point, was that, of course, someone will want to reduce 10% interest to 3% interest, but this is a smoke screen and a mirror to the actual debt that is false and fictitious, that the debt would have to be totally eliminated because the staff of the courts, staff of the child support, and the county staff and the state of California are all committing fraud to obtain these judgments. So that's the smoke screen and the mirrors, is that this comes from what you call the poisonous tree doctrine, where you have a poisonous tree, and if the people are doing illegal stuff, the fruits of the tree will also be poisonous because it originates from fraud and deception. So let's go back to the slides. So basically, next slide. The child support debt is a fraud. You know, they're lying to the people at the agencies, telling them it's for the kids, but it's really a grant program for the states to make money. Lowering interest on arrears is a smokescreen to the actual debt being fraudulent and the staff of the court and other agencies committing fraud. States, courts, child support agencies, counties are making a lot of money. SB 1200 does not eradicate false debt. SB 1200 is not a remedy to fraud. SB 1200 does not address peonage or debt slavery. So peonage and debt slavery is a debt that the child support puts up against you with a false paper or forgeries of court orders to allege that you owe a debt, as them being a judgment creditor when they're not a creditor at all. SB 1200 is a band-aid to state-sanctioned slavery through its child support program. Yes, it's a smokescreen. We don't wish to undermine people trying to help others, but we are pointing out the real issues of the debt, that the debt is false. The child support actors and the court actors have made this debt up, which is really for them to get funding for themselves. This is the reality. It's stated SB 1200 may have some positive things, but they're not underlying or basically researching the origins of the debt. They're just saying basically we realize that the families are hurting and we're going to alleviate some of that. But in anything in science or law, you have to go to the root cause. And this is what we're doing in this video. Next slide. Is child support a for-profit business? It is. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to say that it's for the kids. And this is from a quote from Hitler's book Mein Kampf, that if you get everyone to believe that everything is in the best interest of kids, they will just go on marry. Because, children, sons, daughters, they bring a sense of joy. So this is what the Child Support Agency in the state of California and all the other unionized states under the United States Corporation are doing. So it's just not local to California, but this is what we're speaking on. So it is a for-profit business, debt collection company, unlicensed, never seen their paperwork. They refuse to show it to me. So I can't say that it doesn't exist, but based on the fact that they're not willing to share public information shows that, or might be an indication that it doesn't exist. These are public agencies that are using tax dollars and they're denying the public their records for inspection. So yes, they're unlicensed debt collectors until proof has been proven or proof has been shown. They charge annual fees, application fees. Yes, generally they do. We would want to research this more because maybe some of the agencies in the states don't do it. But my understanding is that they charge annual fees and application fees either one time or they bundle it. Are they engaged in illegal fundraising? Yes. They're raising these funds under a grant program, like similar to the Girl Scouts. The Girl Scouts sell cookies for their programs. We have the Child Support Agency, the county people, which is a county agency with the state government in California, and the courts fundraising to get these funds and sharing the residuals of these funds. So it's illegal fundraising. Legal capture of grant funds, yeah, they're misleading the public. They're misleading the federal government by telling the federal government they're just raising grants. Tax fraud, waste, and abuse, yes. These funds that they're getting, they're not paying taxes on them. That becomes tax evasion, tax fraud. They're charging the people and not showing the records so that the people will pay their tax liability through interest and arrears. Next slide. Does court staff, judges, commissioners forge documents, meaning court orders, child support orders, false withholding orders? Excuse me. Yes. See the videos on the channel about the forged and court orders that I did with Reggie. Child support is a simulated legal process. Avoid court orders and forgeries on the YouTube channel. You could check those out. So normally I just look at the facts to prove this, that they forged documents. Does court staff, judge, commissioners forge documents? So this is from Marin County. Those that are involved here in Marin County, there's a typo. Leon Tam, he works for the Child Support Agency. He told me that child support was voluntary and mandatory. He was giving legal advice and doing things that were fraudulent. Margaret Bandel, she helped prepare the false and forged documents by the Child Support Agency in Marin County Superior Court that were filed. Michelle Moniz, she's a child support attorney as well as Margaret Bandel. She forged documents. She redacted documents. She filed false documents. Joe K. Francis, she's the child support director. She reported false debts and put it on the county recorder as abstract judgment when in fact no child support debt even exists that they made up. Verna Adams is the family court judge involved in human trafficking and child support fraudulent debts. Christopher Longacre, he retired. He's a former child support commissioner. He forged the document, filed it with Chris Hahn, which is a child support or a court clerk. James M. Kim, he's the CEO of the court. He was involved in that too, protecting employees from committing fraud. Janet Frankel is a new child support commissioner. She's falsifying court orders, filing them with Chris Hahn. Robert T. Doyle, he's the sheriff. He's enforcing these orders with his deputies. He's well aware that it's a fraud, but he's wearing his corporate hat. Christopher Hahn, he's a child support or staff of the court clerk, making these judicial council forms and filing them and using whiteout, signing over whiteout, crossing stuff out with markers, altering documents, forging documents. Mark Talamantes, he's a judge involved in human trafficking of our son Wayne Dauphine. He's also involved in Sausalito Department using false warrants to arrest people homeless in Sausalito. Also, other false warrants, and that with the homeless community in Sausalito. Kelly Simmons, former presiding judge for criminal division, also involved in the human trafficking of Wayne Dauphine. Brian Washington, he's the county counsel, the attorney that is involved in giving all these agencies advice through the county council. He's also involved in fraud. Marin County Department of Child Support Services. A name that's not noted, Joanna Kleppe. She was an attorney that helped the mother of our son in all these fraudulent processes. Board of Supervisors, this funding comes through the county. They're not paying taxes on this money. They're falsifying documents, keeping different account ledgers, accounting fraud, not processing payments, laundering the money to general funds in the county, Marin County Superior Court, County Council, etc. This is a lot of information. You would want to pause it and look these people up if you wanted to confirm who these people are. These people will come up if you Google them one at a time to get an idea of who they are. It's stated as a maxim of law. Know who you deal with. So this is basically the proof that they forged documents. These are the people that gave me the forged documents to justify in doing harm to myself and my family. So normally I would just state the facts, but as far as with answering the forgery of these documents, I had to put these individuals down. Next slide. So how does the sheriff and state enforce forged court orders? So you could pause. This comes off their site. They do credit reporting by falsifying and reporting this debt to the credit agencies. They also do passport denial with this fraudulent debt. They lien property. They suspend licenses. They use the franchise tax board as a third party to report the debt and use them as a debt collection agency like the IRS to extort obligors or fathers and mothers to obtain this false debt. Next slide. Income tax intercepts. They use the IRS and franchise tax board as third parties to intercept income. Financial institution data match. They do Marin County and Marin County Department of Child Support Services and the Marin County Sheriff are all involved in identity theft to get people's assets. They take people's disability insurance, unemployment insurance, unemployment benefit payments, try to take workers' comp awards, lottery winnings. So basically, it's stated, I don't support those that don't support their sons and daughters. What I'm saying is that based on the false documents and the forgeries that they gave me, this would all be illegal and unlawful because, um, as stated in the poisonous tree doctrine, it all started from fraud. However, I'm not going to make videos and say people's names if I can't prove it. So obviously, I've already proven it. But this is what people need to know so they're not tricked or suckered into these things. Next slide. Are you a debt slave by child support? So basically, the other slides that I just went over, if that is what happened to you, you would be a debt slave. You would fit the criteria, whether it's one of those things or two or all of them. So the Department of Justice wrote some guidelines to follow that they're not able to suspend a license over a debt. They're not able to do income withholding without having a judge sign. But however, they're just doing it because they want to do it. So in this case, the child support, Marin County Superior Court, Marin County staff are all above the law. That stuff doesn't apply to them. They do what they want. They're trying to get the money. Stated our country, or our so-called country, was founded on slavery and peonage. So why wouldn't they not do that now? That's why I said stuff about SB 1200, because it's not uh, about necessarily lowering interest rates on falsified debts or whatever debts these are, but looking at the origin of the debt, looking at the origin of our so-called country or corporation, that it thrives on debt. It's like, why would they eradicate the child support if they're making money? They're not going to do that. So it's just getting people to be informed and understand what they're doing. So they're not going to say, oh, we're going to make you slaves like the 14th Amendment, that they said that they freed the slaves, but they only gave so-called slaves or so-called citizens benefits and privileges which could be taken away at any time, as stated with their fake child support debts. So slavery by debt, peonage, or debtor's prison, that they put a debt on you which is false, that they can't prove, but because of Uniform Parentage Act or because of a birth certificate, now they bind you in a contract that they don't disclose all the terms, which is illegal. But since we do not know contract law, we fall susceptible to that and we believe the lies that they've told us. So as stated, I'm not anti-government. The government functions to protect the people, but in the state that I've seen is that the government has been defunct because of bankruptcy, and they're acting as a government. They're more of a corporation that's bankrupt, based out of Washington, D.C. So this is the thing, is that they're doing harm and not helping the people. But as stated, if you will read and study, you will find what I'm saying to be true. Don't take what I'm saying to be true, but take what I'm saying to study, to empower yourself and your family. Research all that I've said and use that for yourself to help and gain advantage for your family and your loved ones. Next slide. So what are the consequences of challenging the corruption? Stalking, harassment, human trafficking of your sons or daughters, as they did to me, gang stalking, intimidation, terrorist threats, loss of job, homelessness, injury, death, which they're doing to me. The thing is that they're not all going to come after you. They're all going to come after you different umbrellas, so different subsets of corporations of the state of California or the county will come after you for exposing these things. But I think that's what makes it beautiful, is that informing people of that so they know. So basically, that's how this came around. Is a lady by the name of Michelle Chan was supporting this SB 1200, reduce interest and arrears on debts, and this how this video came to play, is that it was shared with me, and then we had spoken of this, what this was and the origins of it. So the video was made to break down how this correlates with child support and modern day slavery that is under the guise of being child support by the state of California. So this is unfortunate. It is what it is. But this is how this video came into existence. And let me go to the next slide. So these are conclusions and references. So just basically in conclusion, that we want to study to inform ourselves and our families and our loved ones. We don't want people to go through the things that we've experienced, and we want to share our knowledge and our so-called wisdom with others, and contribute to make this place a better world and a better planet. We want to be good examples, real models, not role models, and we want to be kind and compassionate. There was names mentioned in this video, and it's never my intention to just say negative stuff about people. That's not who I am as a man. But I have to say that to express the truth and put that out there so people know. And I openly challenge these people or anybody to prove me wrong, whether it's by affidavit or whatever by means it is. I'm not going to just say people's names and attack them if it wasn't true. But when it comes to the truth, it got to be exposed. It's got to be put out there. And by all means, I'm not perfect. I sin like any of these other people, but those people know better. They're judges. They're public officials. They should know what they're doing and what harm they're causing. So on that note, I want to end the video. Please like, subscribe, share. Check out the other videos I did with my brother Reggie. And I want to say all praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, creator of heavens and the universe. Thank you for your time. Goodbye.